Yes. What do you guys think about um, people and to the story you just told us about people being witty and going back and forth, and it looks like they're roasting shit, like a roast battle, right? It's just it's so entertaining and you're so captivated about it, but that you watch the whole conversation unfold. What do you guys think about people just with social media, with Facebook, Twitter, Instagram? Everybody's now trying to be funny. Like when someone tweets, whether no matter who it is, if it's Trump, if it's another comedian, if it's uh a comment on Instagram, or like people feel the need to have like the wittiest, the funniest reply, whether it's creating a meme. Like people are quick with creating memes. I have an app on my phone. I can create a meme in like 10 seconds.
Dude, some of the
Right.
shit that people come up with, I'm like, damn, that's pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
So
It doesn't bother me, I guess,
and do,
because
do you have your mic? Did you lose your mic, Kim?
oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I took my sweater off. Yeah, it doesn't bother me, I guess, because even old school without internet, I feel like I came from a culture. I'm not going to repeat it again. We all know where I came from. So I came from a
Basic,
culture
all
where,
that.
like, not basic. Like, I hung out with like 95% Black people.
Yeah.
So everybody was always trying to one up each other on comebacks and
Exactly.
funny.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like it's natural to me to watch it, but maybe it's because my background. I mean, I
But
like comedy, but I do get the need to, like, I feel like there's people who are always trying a little too hard to be the person to get that, like, to have a viral tweet.
yeah.
Like, that kind of pisses me off in my Twitter when I'm like, you're fake as fuck right now. Like, I have some influencer people, so I have a different kind of world, but they'll
Uh-huh.
put something up and I'm like, no, that's
But
not.
but
They
I
just did it
realized
for
that that's most people. When you read YouTube comments on any video, when you any tweet retweets, it's like it's a contest of, can I, what's the funniest thing that I could say. Well, even if it's mean or not, it doesn't matter. You're just trying to be funny, and I've said this many times. I will never diss someone for trying to be funny.
Mhm.
The joke can be funny and or not funny, like it can bomb or it can be funny as hell, but the attempt at it I'll always respect. And but now it's become this competition of who's going to have the wittiest meme, or who's going to have the craziest reply or retweet. But the thing, and the thing is, I actually look for it now.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I'll watch a video about anything, or just like a podcast. Say I watched the Joe Rogan podcast, and then I just scroll down to the comments, not because I'm going to find something useful. Someone's going to post like an article or follow up or anything like that, but it's just the banter and the level of wittiness and funniness that they're trying to outdo each other. Uh, and I think it's fascinating to watch.
I'm very addicted to that. But again, like I said, like I don't think I think just now when you said competition, that's the first time my brain registered that that's what people do. Because again, since the beginning of social media, of adding all of my high school friends online,
Uh-huh.
again, they're 95% Black minorities and Black people. And so their statuses have always been funny. They've always been witty. They've always been wild.
Uh-huh.
Like what we just read is not normal for me to read from my high school friends and St. John's high school friends coming from Savannah and Kansas. So
Uh-huh.
I guess for me, I probably always thought it was normal because I'm from that genre.
Yes.
So, but now that you're saying it, now it's kind of I'm kind of going, no, you're right. Like sometimes when I look down, I see kind of a battle going on, and I stay in the comments of YouTube because of that. Or I'll see somebody share a post, and they'll go check the comments. They're hilarious,
Yes,
and
exactly.
and that's what
Yeah.
it. So I see what you're saying now. I
But
think I didn't register it before because it was maybe natural to me, but I see what you mean.
you bring up a good point, and Colin, maybe you can speak to this as a fellow black person. If you don't know, Colin's black. Um,
Surprise.
our
I know,
producer is
I
black,
know.
Takes
y'all.
off a mask. Like,
Yeah, right. Hi,
I'm
howdy
pretty sure
doody.
people
That's
are
what
like,
you're actually.
I think Kim thinks she's blacker than Carlin. Like, I
Yeah.
think there might be some confusion. Go
No,
ahead.
but there's something in the black culture of like we're always roasting each other, like we're always talking shit, like that is an actual thing. You don't see that with white folks a whole lot. Like white folks will challenge each other, I would say maybe physically, but black folks like one of the defense mechanism or like a survival, not necessarily survival
It's self-defense
technique.
for sure.
Yeah, it's like you got to be funny.
You gotta have
So
them loaded up and ready. You never know when
and
But
someone's
I,
gonna roast you.
I do think Southern white people do that because,
I think it's all
I
black
mean,
people because it's in Africa too.
no, I'm saying Southern white people though. Like
Do it.
everywhere I've gone in the South, they do that. So I've lived in many areas, and even in my family, like that's how we've been growing up. That's been people I've dated growing up. I've been used to Southern people. When I've gone to other areas, white people didn't act that way. But I also think that's a Southern thing culturally here in the States, that white people in the South do it too. So maybe culturally black people do it everywhere, but I know white people in the South roast each other constantly
Like
because
what kind of like give me an example of some of the stuff
I mean, they're always doing it. Like I'm watching it. My daughter, like she goes to like a predominantly white school, and it annoys the hell out of us. Like it just no diversity. And every time those kids are over here playing D&D or whatever, those boys are going right back at each other all the time. My son, being from Seattle, when he's on playing video games, he plays predominantly with these white kids. They're always roasting each other. Like
That's
it's a
different.
roast constantly.
I think that's different because it's within the context of a game and you're talking shit
No, it's not
because you're
just
in
a
the
game.
game.
Like when
But
they're
I'm talking
hanging
like in
out, like
person, like you're just hanging out with your
no, in
boys.
person. Like I mean, like when these dudes come over here, they'll play. I just mentioned D&D. I don't mean in the context of the game. They come over here for D&D, but when we're sitting here and they're talking at my table, they'll roast me. I'll roast them, and we're all white. Like we sit here, they roast me, I roast them. Like they roast me for like looking younger. They'll be like, "I'd rather date your mom, Maddie, than you." Like they'll roast my daughter, they'll roast my son.
Oh damn.
My nieces and nephews are
Them
all
white folks
white.
are out of control, man.
Yeah, they act the same way, but I'm not sure. Here's my thought on that to kind of circle back around.
Uh-huh.
If I think about everybody in that scenario, every one of those people have connections to Black culture. So my nieces and nephews, my family
Oh,
members.
so they don't even they're not a good example then.
Yes, that's what I just realized. As soon as I said that, I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. My nieces and nephews have, it's Black culture that they've gone to school with, or even at, I just realized when you said that the kids that come here, they're roasting each other, but they're doing it in my household where we do that. So I'm not sure I
So
think I messed that up.
let me maybe be more specific. When I think Southern white folks, I'm not necessarily thinking like trailer trash anything like that. I'm just thinking about your um your average white family, mom and dad,
Just like a nuclear family.
Kelly and Michael, and they're living in the suburbs, and they eat together and they talk about stuff, but there's never, I don't want to say never, the kind of dynamic that black people have with each other, especially within their own family or with their friends or people in their community, is way more like in your face. It's like it's it could
It's like watching a Medea movie.
yeah, exactly. It could sound. Think about the Crumps. The Crumps.
There you go. Yeah.
Eddie Murphy.
No, the Nutty Professor.
Nutty
Wasn't it
Professor.
Nutty
They're all
Professor?
sitting around the fat or not. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. But they're all sitting around, and
Oh, it
all
wasn't
they
Nutty
do is
Professor. I think
talk
it was the
shit to
Clumps.
each other.
Yeah.
All they do is talk
I
shit to
just
each
feel,
other.
I guess that's
Hercules,
Hercules.
Hercules. Huh?
The middle class friends, like middle class Black friends that I had, their families didn't do that. It was only like the people that were like on my level of socioeconomical status.
Yeah,
So
but
that's why I guess I probably got it messed up, because like my richer Black friends, their families didn't do that. I'd go over and I would think that I could act that way, and their parents would be like,
no, we don't do that here.
yeah, I was very
Kimberly.
I would act, I would feel like I was like really off, so I guess like I'm probably not a good example. I'm just gonna bow out of this one.
Like the Fresh Prince going over to Aunt Vivi's house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you really
Yeah.
feel out of place. At first I thought it was like African Americans we know, but I think it's a black thing in general, because like I said, even in Africa, Like that's we're loud, we're expressive, we talk with our hands a lot, and we want to be in your face, and we point a lot when we express ourselves. And
Yeah.
and
But
you add,
Italians do that too, and
yeah,
Hispanics do
actually,
that
yeah,
too. Like
Italians do that
St.
too. That's true.
Mhm.
Italian,
You
they'll
know?
curse at each other in the middle of a
Yeah.
sentence, like out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
And
So
Sinjin's family's
really,
very like that. But Sinjin's family will tell you that's why I guess I'm so confused because like my family, maybe we're just not like you saying you're the exception because I think my family thinks they're black, I guess, because we do a lot of different things that would probably fit in that in some way. My brother's very funny. My
how was
sister's
it
very
for
funny. My
you,
dad's
Alex? How was it for you growing up?
Well, I was thinking about that too. It's like, cause like, even in like Latin, like I'm Puerto Rican. So like in Latin cultures, like for the most part, like growing up, and I'm pretty sure like in the black or even African communities, like like you had multiple generations of families living in the same roof.
Yeah, that too.
So most of the loudness, the party atmosphere, the fun, the jabs and stuff like that was because you had to
Deal with your
stand
crazy
out.
uncle.
It was like, yeah, it was like almost like a
have to
standout
stand
kind of
out.
thing.
Yeah,
You had to stand out from
exactly.
the crowd because you had multiple generations of a
That's a
family
good
living
point.
under the same roof. At least
Yeah.
that's how. I wouldn't say it was for me, but I would say for like my parents and their
Mhm.
grandparents, like that culture was. I mean, yeah. Even now, like I go to my parents' house and then like my mom could be having a conversation with somebody in the room, and then she's like FaceTiming my aunt in Puerto Rico in Philadelphia, and then my brother's doing this. Like you have all these different conversations going on at the same time, and everybody's like,
Oh,
like
they talking
it's
shit to each other.
yeah. Oh my God, you kidding?